Hi everyone, welcome to our vision. I'm Jose Silva, and today I have a very special guest, Mohammed Jassim. Is Emirati, but also lived and studied in Miami and London. Mohammed oversees the marketing of Dubai in the Americas and Portugal and Spain for Dubai economy and tourism. He is my first friend in Dubai, and I'm very glad and happy to be here with me. Mohammed, thank you very much
Wow,
for accepting this invitation.
my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
It's just a normal conversation
Of
that
course,
we already have.
one of many conversations we've already had.
Yeah, that's it. So I will start with the first question
hmm
that I always start. So how does the culture uh, interferes, and how is the impact of the culture on the perception of Dubai? You that work with different cultures,
hmm
especially like Latin community and also Portugal and Spain,
Of course.
when you work this population that have a different culture, obviously, in Dubai, how is the impact of the perception of this country?
It's a great question to start with. Dubai is a city, as you know, that is home to many, 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 many nationalities from all around the world. I think the statistic is that it's home to over 200 nationalities and even more ethnic groups than you can count. We are an extremely international city. We have hundreds of cuisines, food from all around the world. And when you have this kind of mix of nationalities, cultures, food, languages, all in the same place, and Dubai is a very small city compared to some of the huge big cities around the world, like London or New York or Beijing. Um, it's very easy to learn how to deal with people, how to work with different kinds of people, learn from people, learn about their habits, learn about their cultures, what kind of foods they like, what kind of foods that are available in the UAE, Emirati food or Arabic food or any other kinds of food that are not very well known in their home countries as well. And when you're working, dealing, living, enjoying your time with all these kinds of people, it's not something that I think about because it becomes kind of like second nature to me. I can tell you that in high school, for example, I was one Emirati guy next to another guy, and then the rest of my classmates that were from all around the world. We had people from Germany, we had people from the UK, from India and Pakistan, we had people from Trinidad and Tobago. I remember the first time I even heard of this country, I was in high school, I had no idea where it was on the map. But even the smallest experience like this can really take you a long way.
Yes, but for example, you work Americas,
hmm
right? Like for example, countries like Brazil, Colombia,
Yes,
and you work also Portugal and Spain.
correct.
So, and we have different cultures. I'm
hmm
from Portugal, and my culture is it's more similar to Spain than for Brazil or Colombia, for
Correct.
example. And do you identify any like perception of Dubai
hmm
from the different, for example, from South America and Portugal and Spain that we are in Europe?
Right. So, as you said, I look after the marketing of Dubai as a tourism destination in South America, in North America, and in Spain and Portugal. Um, these parts of the world are all very different, but they also have a lot of things in common. The main thing is what are the reasons they decide to come to Dubai. So, for example, people from the Iberian Peninsula, from Spain and Portugal, one of the main reasons they come to the Middle East and they come to Dubai is to learn about the Emirati culture. They like to see what the Emirati people are like, what the history of this region is. They like to learn about our food, our values, our habits. Um, Whereas people from South America, they also have that kind of interest. They love to learn about culture because it is considered kind of a unique destination compared to other parts of South America or the Caribbean, where they usually like to travel to, or even North America. But for example, people from South America, they also like to um, see and experience Dubai from a different lens other than the culture. They like to experience what the city has to offer in terms of like the hotels, the beaches. They like to see the attractions that are not necessarily a cultural proposition that Dubai has.
Yeah,
So, yeah, please.
sorry. For example, the perception that I have, because I have a lot of friends from South America,
Mhm.
is like Dubai is like the American dream. Before you have like the American dream, and I think now Dubai replace it as like, oh, Dubai is where I can find a different lifestyle.
Mhm.
They like, as you said, experience like the beach clubs, the restaurants,
Absolutely.
everything that the city has to offer.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Do you
think
feel that?
for South America specifically, one of the main things that attracts them is first and foremost, Dubai is one of the safest cities in the world. And
Yeah, of course.
I haven't really come across a lot of people who think of Dubai as the alternative to the American dream. So I don't have much to say about that, but in some ways I can understand why they say that. It's a very new country. The UAE is a new country. It's only 50 years old. It's extremely vibrant. So many people live here, and so Dubai over the past 20, 30 years has worked a lot on developing itself, and the hotels, the restaurants that you mentioned, the nightlife, all of these things are things that make people curious. And I think when people travel, they, as much as they travel to have fun, they also travel to learn. And I think this is what Dubai has to offer, for example, for people from South America and people from all around the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And this charming. I love Dubai. So you, as I mentioned before, you also lived in Miami and
Mhm.
London. You studied there.
That's right.
So what are like the key differences that you can identify from those cities and from Dubai?
Well, I lived in Miami at a different part of my life than when I lived in the UK, in London. I went to Miami as a teenager, and I did my undergrad there in South Florida. And so I was still a young person. I had a lot to learn about myself. I had a lot to experience and a lot of the world to see. So I feel like my time in Miami and in the US really contributed a lot to the personal development that I had to experience in order to become the person that you know
are.
now. Yeah.
Yes.
Um, and during my time in Miami, I would always say that it's extremely similar to Dubai in many ways. It is a melting pot of people. The difference is that the melting pot in Miami is a melting pot of the Caribbean islands and South America. So you have people from all over the Caribbean and all over South America, and Europeans as well. You have people from parts of Africa. So it really didn't feel like I was experiencing a big change, because I was already used to living in a city that is home to all kinds of people. And the same I can say about the UK and London, because London is probably the first place in the world that was home to the biggest number of cultures and people from all around the world. Even today, when you go to London, you see people from all walks of life, from all kinds of different backgrounds and all different cultures. I went to the UK later in my 20s, so it was very welcome experience for me. But the thing that all these three places have in common is what I just mentioned.
Yeah.
You can hear all different kinds of languages being spoken all the time. And this is something that you don't really experience when you travel all around the world. Most places, they speak the language of the country you are in. So
Mm.
I think this is one of the key differences that I can mention off the top of my head.
Yeah, something that I feel personally. I also lived not for like 3 months just in London, but I went there a lot of times as well, and we can notice that there is like hundreds of nationalities as
Mhm.
well. But I feel like in Dubai, you really feel the inclusivity. You feel that different nationalities they catch up with each other. I
Mhm.
feel that in London they live more like in different communities.
Right.
They don't mingle that much. But here, I have friends like from I don't know, but like 50 countries or more.
Right. Yeah.
And in London, not that much. At least my personal experience.
Right.
So I think that here the maybe because 90% there are expats and everyone has no like a family here for a long time, but I feel that people are here to know each other and to be more inclusive.
Right. That's a very good point you bring up. I think in my case, in both Miami and in London, I was very fortunate to be in university. So it was very easy to meet people. It was very easy to meet people from all around the world. In London, even more than in Miami. It is way easier to experience what you just described here in Dubai, because you have people from all over the world. From the moment that you leave your house until the moment that you come back at night, you can probably come across people from 50 different nationalities, as you said. And because everyone that comes here is looking for an opportunity, everyone is involved and everyone is a stakeholder in what Dubai is. And as brilliant as this city is, it is not much without its people. And its people, as you know, the population of the UAE is close to 10 million. Not very different than the population in Portugal.
Yeah, almost the same.
Yeah. But the only difference is, and this is extremely unique statistic, which I believe doesn't exist anywhere else in the world, and that is there is one Emirati to every 9 people who are not Emirati.
Yeah.
So, as I mentioned, the people are what make this city, and without the people, we wouldn't be where we are today.
And as a Emirati, how you see that? How you feel that?
I love it. I feel like this fact, which 30 years ago wasn't common, and you would not imagine that the ratio would be 1 to 9 30 years ago, really has helped the city progress culturally, both domestically and internationally. There are not many places you can go to in the world where you can get this experience. So for me, I feel like this has contributed extremely positively to my personal growth. And I'm a person who enjoys traveling. So when I travel around the world, it's easy for me to get along with people. Sometimes I go to countries where I have a friend who I've met in Dubai, and so maybe you learn a little bit about their food, maybe you learn some words in their language, and it's a common reaction when you speak to someone in their mother tongue, to get a positive kind of feedback and feeling from them. And so I feel like being Emirati in Dubai, especially, is an extreme blessing, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
And as you lived and traveled for so many countries and cities, do you feel any like struggling or any challenge because you are Emirati? Have you ever experienced something?
That people are different. So I know in this situation you're asking about my personal experience,
Yes, of course.
and so for me, it's I never struggle, or I rarely struggle when I travel. But that's also comes with being a mature traveler. You know, when I travel, depending on where I'm going, I have learned by being in Dubai, growing up in Dubai, by growing up around different people from different kinds of cultures, that there are things that you have to respect, values, rules, um, that you have to abide with in all different kinds of countries. Some things that are okay in your country are not okay in different countries, and vice versa. And that's part of being a mature traveler. And so, whenever I travel, I try to be as much as the people from where I am visiting as I can. And I always say this as I really dislike feeling like a tourist.
Yeah, me
You
too.
know, I dislike
Me
feeling like
too.
a tourist. I don't like being treated like a tourist, because when I travel somewhere, I want to do what the local people are
do.
doing.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I want to do. I want to go to the places where the local people go, not just where the tourists go. I want to eat what the local people are eating, not
Yeah.
the international cuisine that that city or country
Yeah.
has to offer. Um, so, this is my personal experience. I enjoy it, and I even like to, for example, dress like the way they dress, if it is not kind of um, against their culture, or it is not disrespectful of their culture.
So you have witnesses the transformation of the UAE,
Mm-hmm.
right? So what is the difference from like 20 years ago and now? Do you think that it was just the infrastructure that changed, or also the mindset? What do you think?
It's a great question, because there are other parts of the world that are trying to use Dubai's model as a blueprint in order to implement changes within their cities and within their countries, because they have seen that Dubai is a successful model.
Yes.
And to answer your question briefly, um, the infrastructure is a key requirement for any city or any country in the world in order to advance. And because tourism is one of our key pillars of our economy here in Dubai, it's important to continuously improve your infrastructure, because you are planning on bringing more and more and more people. And when you have hundreds of thousands of people visiting your city, becoming millions and now tens of millions each year, you have to have everything ready in order to improve their experience. If 20 million people come to Dubai each year, and the public transportation is not available or is not of high standard, if the roads are not of good quality, getting around is difficult, then it doesn't really work. And so I feel like the infrastructure is extremely important to any country and any city, but especially to ours, because Dubai is not a very big city. And in terms of the culture, it was a process. It was a process. I think one of the examples that I can give you, and this is a good example of to show how Dubai is the kind of city that tries to become progressive in its own way. is that 20 years ago or 25 years ago, our weekdays and weekends were different.
Yeah, Friday
Our
and Saturday, and now it's
uh,
Saturday and Sunday, right?
no, actually, 25 years ago, the weekends were Thursday and Friday.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so the days of the week were Saturday to Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday was the weekend. And then we decided to take a step into changing that so that we are a bit more in cohesion with other parts of the world. And once we did that, other countries within the region followed. And very recently, 2 or 3 years ago, the weekend has now changed again um, to Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
And for a country that has never experienced this change, it can feel like it's a big change in your lifestyle all of a sudden. But because we've already experienced it once, maybe 15 or 20 years ago, experiencing it again was extremely normal. You know, it didn't feel like I had to adapt my life or change my lifestyle. Uh, 31st of December, it was Saturday,
Friday and
Friday, Saturday,
Saturday.
and then January 1st, it was Saturday,
Yes.
Sunday, and it was business as usual. So
Yeah.
I think this is a very good example I can
Yeah,
use
very
to
good.
answer
Yes.
your question.
Yeah. And now a little bit more personal.
Mm-hmm.
Who inspires you? And how inspires you? You have different type of inspirations for personal life, for professional life.
Right. This is a very good question that is not easy to answer at
Of
all.
course.
I often find myself thinking about this question. And honestly, every time I think about it, I always go back to the same person. It's my father. My father is kind of a personality that I have learned so much from, and I continue to learn from. And the older I get, the more I realize that he was right. You know, especially in my teenage days. For example, anyone who's a teenager, they have a normal father-son relationship, and you realize that there is a kind of what's the word, like pushback when your father is telling you something, but you know you don't want to do it. But the older I get and the more I experience in life, I think to myself, oh my God, he was right. So I get this moment all the time in things that I have now see in life as an adult. And this continues to be the case. And the other person who I feel like has been extremely influential in my life is my brother, Abdullah, who you've met.
Yeah.
Abdullah and I, we are very different characters,
Yes.
very different personalities. And somehow, obviously, because we are siblings, but the difference between, for the people who don't know, the difference between us is only a year and a half. And so I feel like he is the person that completes me the most, because he has things that I don't, and I have things that he doesn't. And he was with me when I was in Miami, or I was with him when he was in Miami in college. And again, we were together when we were in London. And so I feel like these two people in my life have really, really helped me become the person that I am, and really inspire me to become better and better.
And we are talking about make decisions.
Mm-hmm.
How you manage and balance your emotions to make a decision. Do you are aware of the emotions on that side, or you don't even think about it? How you do it?
I try to be in touch with myself as much as I can. It's not an easy task, because this is something that you will have to work on from the moment that you become conscious as a human, whether
Yes, for sure.
for me, I think it was around the age of maybe 13, 14, or 15. I can't really remember. But then after that moment, it's a forever thing, because you as a person have to continue to develop yourself and progress as a person to become kind of valuable member of society. And I feel valuable members of society are people who contribute to society in whichever way. You know, I don't mean that you have to come up with an invention or something.
Yeah,
You know,
of course.
even you just do your job. You know, whatever your job is, that's a part of contribution to society. And so I try to be conscious of the person that I am. I think what helps me make decisions. Actually, I spoke about my brother, who is a year and a half younger than I am, but I'd like to speak about my other brother, who is 21 years younger than I am. And I don't have any children, but when this boy was born, I was 21 years old, and he has been like my child. And so when it comes to making decisions, I always think to myself, how can I be a good role model to this person? And I use that model for the most part throughout my decision making all around. Because if you think about that person, then your decision in life, in work, in travel, in anything, it should come back to that. Am I learning or am I doing something that will teach this person how to be a better person? It's a very deep question you've asked me. I wouldn't say I was very well prepared in my mind. And even if I go home today and I think about it, I will come back tomorrow and I still won't have a good enough answer.
Of course,
Yeah.
there is no right or wrong or nothing, you know.
Mhm.
There is like this process that and I think it should be an exercise that everyone should do like every day. And I think when you're praying, you also do this, right? I
Mhm.
think praying is also this moment to be aware and to manage and balance your emotional side as well.
Right. I think prayer in general, regardless of your faith, is a moment for you to be in touch with yourself. And for me personally, especially since we live in a very fast-paced city, in a fast-paced world, and with all the technology and all the kind of fast information, you know, prayer, it helps me slow down, even if it's for 5 minutes, even if it's for 10 minutes. It helps me slow down and kind of recalibrate myself. And if you do it, you know, constantly, like any other exercise or practice, the more you do it, the more you can become good at it, and the more you can learn how to control your thoughts and your emotions. And I wouldn't say I am in complete control of my thoughts and emotions, but like I said, it is a forever thing, and I will.
You are better than like 5 years ago, for example.
I think so.
Yeah.
But the key is to look forward and work on being better 5 years from now, because 5 years ago is now gone. We can look to the future.
Yeah, 100%. And I think this is also the the UAE vision as
Mhm.
well. Look,
Right.
move to the forward and to the
Absolutely.
future. And what do you think, obviously in your personal opinion, is the secret for Dubai could handle so many nationalities, different religions, different opinions, and here we all live together
Mhm.
in a positive way, and is one of the safest countries in the world. What is the secret?
Another good question. I'm not going to answer this question as if I know the secret, but
Okay.
I can give it a shot. And I think this goes back to not the current ruler of Dubai, but his father, Sheikh Rashid. The Sheikh Rashid was a visionary in his own way and in his own time. And along with the founder of the UAE, Sheikh Zayed, they worked really hard together in making the 7 Emirates one country. And for Dubai specifically, and historically, Dubai used to be a trade hub for people coming from all over the Gulf, from people coming from India and other parts of the world. At some point in the late 1800s, the Portuguese were here.
Yeah, I know.
And so trade is a very key pillar of our city and of our country. And I feel like if anything is the secret, it is that. And so the reason why I bring up Sheikh Rashid is because Sheikh Rashid was the main person who set the foundation of what Dubai is. And with being a good ruler, the important thing is to pass that on as well and know how to teach and pass on the skills and the knowledge. And one of the first things that Sheikh Rashid did in his lifetime is to expand the port, because the port is a key trade hub for us in Dubai and the UAE. And the airport and Emirates Airlines. I feel like these 2-3 things were extremely important in making this place a safe place. Because when you focus on trade and when you focus on business, and all kinds of people come to do business and to prosper, then it is really important to keep it safe. Otherwise, people will not come for business. And I think that is kind of one of the key reasons why Dubai is what it is today, because it's an international business hub. It connects the east to the west. We have millions of people flying into Dubai and millions more flying through Dubai. Dubai through Emirates Airlines and some of our other carriers is a key transit location, and you need a safe place to do business in order for all this to happen.
And I also think, this is my personal opinion, obviously, but I also think that you guys, the Emiratis, the population, inspire people to be more kind and to be, for example, there is millions of people in downtown, in Burj Khalifa, Dubai Mall, right?
Yeah.
Everything is clean. But if the same people were, for example, in Portugal or in US, everything was dirty. You know what I mean? So you inspire people to follow the rules, because you guys also follow the rules. And human beings, we are like this, you know, we repeat what we are seeing. If you're seeing everyone drop the whatever, they will do the same. But everything is clean, so they will, okay, I need to keep it clean as well.
Right.
So I think also it's an inspiration, and even in Saudi and those countries, it's also safe countries. I think the Arabs in general inspire and should be even more in Europe, US, South America, to follow this, because when we came from our countries and be here, we act differently. We are better people in that way, and I think it's also something that contribute to UAE be one of the safest countries in the world.
Well, I thank you for that flattering observation. I think that this country works for many reasons, but one of the reasons that it does is because I feel like there is good governance. And with good governance, it's something that other countries and other cities can aspire to do. But again, this is not something that happened overnight. Dubai is a project that has been in the works for the past 50 years. And in order for it to work, everybody needs to make it work.
Yeah.
You know,
Needs
so
to
it's
follow.
not just the Emiratis or the Arabs who need to make it work, but it's everybody, because people come to Dubai, people come to the UAE in order to prosper, whether they come to do business, whether they come to live here, whether they come to learn. And so when everybody is taking care of the city together, it makes our job way easier. And again, it's like a team, you know? We're all like a team.
Yeah, I feel the same. So just to finish this part, there are many people relocating to the UAE.
Mm-hmm.
What are the impact that you think that we will have in the near future? Do you think it will be safe? Do you think, what changes do you predict?
So I want to start by saying that this is a goal that was set by the ruler of of Dubai, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, and they call it the D33 goal, which is a milestone that we will aim to reach in 2033. And this is something that is not foreign to us. We always have a goal to aspire to reach. And one of the key elements of D33 and our key goals is to make Dubai not just the number one city to visit in the world, but also one of the main places where people can move and live and do business. And so because we have this goal set for us by our ruler, we are all, whether it's government or the public sector or the private sector, are all working together to make this goal come to fruition. And so we are already preparing the city for a time where the population will increase dramatically, because we want people to move here, we want people to live here. And of course, like I said, safety and security is one of the most important, if not the most important factor that attracts people to move to somewhere or visit someplace. But more importantly is to move their businesses somewhere, because I can come here and I can find a job, you know, but it's harder for me to move somewhere and start a business or move my business. And all of these factors, they play in together. To live here, to visit here, to do business here, are key pillars in making Dubai a city of the future. And I feel like it goes into one of the earlier questions you asked about the infrastructure.
Yes.
You know, the infrastructure continues to evolve and continues to improve. The city is expanding all the time. I'm sure you can tell from the construction of new projects happening all over the city. One of the most important infrastructures that we are working on, or the city is working on, is expanding the Dubai World Central Airport, where it can host more than 200 million, if I think that number is correct. We can check it later. Passengers, which is an incredibly big amount of travelers through any airport. But yeah, we need to fact check that number.
Yes.
But again, the infrastructure, expanding the airports is extremely important to the sustainability of the city. And speaking of sustainability, that is also very important, because part of the D33 agenda is making Dubai a sustainable city.
Yes.
And obviously with more and more people, with more and more projects, you also have a bigger impact on the world, and so a lot of sustainability projects are also underway. We can talk about, for example, the Mohammed bin Rashid Solar Park, which is a project of extremely unique project. You have solar parks all around the world, but this one in particular aims to make Dubai extremely sustainable for people to live, because we're not looking for people to come here for 1 month, for 1 year, for 10 years. We're looking for longevity. So we're looking for people to live here, move here for generations, and not just come, work 10 years, 20 years, and then go back to your home country. This is a place where we want to make home for everybody.
Very good. Thank you. Mohammed, now let's talk about travels. Okay? So, share with us the travel that changed your life. Can you identify one that you said, okay, now I'm a little bit different, I want to...
This is, again, the more you travel, the more this question becomes harder to answer. There are so many places. Every place that I've visited in my life has contributed to my knowledge, to my experiences, to my memories. And so it's definitely not a very easy question to answer. And I've realized that the theme of today is to ask all the hard questions. But many, many places that I've visited are absolutely beautiful.
For example, for me, the first time that I went to New York, I knew that I wanted to live in a big city like New York, you know. And that's why actually it was my first mental change to be here in Dubai.
Right. I like that you mentioned New York, because maybe to some people and to some of the viewers it might sound as cliche, but the first time I went to New York, I got this feeling inside of me that I had never experienced ever
Me neither.
in my life. It's a crazy feeling. I don't know why. It's not because I wanted to live there or move there, but it's this kind of crazy kind of butterflies that I got in my chest or my stomach that I've never experienced anywhere until I went to Seoul, South Korea.
Oh yes, I really want to go there as well.
This was
changed.
Maybe 10 years apart.
Yeah.
And it was a feeling that I only got in Seoul, South. These are the only two cities that I've felt like this is an incredible feeling. I don't know what it is. There's nothing in particular that I want to highlight about these cities. I definitely recommend everyone to visit Seoul, South Korea. Beautiful place, beautiful people. So much to do, so much to see, so much to learn.
Yeah,
they are extremely nice. They love tourists. But, you know, I have 2 or 3 places in mind that I could talk about. One place is Vietnam. Vietnam, I think, from my experience around the world, possibly the nicest people I've ever met. Possibly. And I've seen a lot of people, you know. And I think you should go for yourself and see it for yourself.
Yeah.
Amazing people, amazing culture, so much to see, so much to learn, amazing food, Vietnamese food.
Yes.
Extremely diverse. They have that also kind of like a French influence, which is extremely unique to places that I haven't seen. Another place where my eyes were the widest they have ever been open is Brazil.
Brazil?
Yes, Brazil, but not talking about the big cities.
Okay.
I went to a little bit into one of the smaller cities, which is more inland in kind of the northern part of Brazil.
Do you know the name?
The city is called Ipatinga. Yeah,
it's in the south?
It's in the north.
The north?
Yeah, it's in the Minas Gerais.
Yes.
Province. And This is actually one of the most incredible experiences in my life. I had a helicopter tour over one of the national forests, and I have never seen so much forest in my life.
Yeah.
And I'm a person who really likes nature, and I've been to Kenya. They have a lot of nature there, beautiful nature, amazing nature, things that you will not see anywhere else in the world other than that parts of Africa, for example. But seeing the forest, only forest. You don't see any buildings, nothing else. My eyes were
Yeah.
open. It's an amazing feeling. Amazing feeling.
Yeah, I've been also in north of Brazil, and the nature is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Even the food as well. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
The food, there's one of my favorite things that I've ever had in my life is the pound de queijo.
pão de queijo is so
Oh my
good.
God.
Yes, it's very.
I
very
used to
good.
wake up and breakfast and maybe eat
10
of those,
pães de
yeah,
queijo.
easily.
Yeah, it's like a small.
yeah, and
balls.
any combination of like hot bread and cheese is brilliant, but this one specifically,
Yes.
and I've had it in another part of the world which I won't mention, but it's not the same. Another place that I would love to mention is north of Morocco. I went there very recently, actually, about 6 months ago for my honeymoon.
Yeah, I remember.
And I went to many cities in Morocco from the north to the south. But the north of Morocco, it is extremely special place. The city of Tangier, or Tanja, as they say
It's
in Arabic.
very nearby Spain, right? The
You
Strait
can
Gibraltar.
see Tarifa of south of Spain from Tanja.
Yes.
And I was extremely lucky to visit Tarifa 3 months ago. So I saw Tanja from Spain, from Tarifa, and I saw Tarifa from Tanja,
Tanja.
all in a span of maybe 3 months.
Yeah, this is very
This
nice.
is an incredible experience by itself. So many beautiful places.
Yeah, so
The list can go on and on.
yeah, that's good. So for you, just one top city for food.
Wow. Top city for food. You really can't make me do this, honestly.
Three.
Look, I'll tell you one thing. I will not talk about food in general, but I will talk about a specific something that I had to try.
Yeah.
The pão de queijo is one of them. However,
Brazil?
I was in a coastal town in the Italian Riviera, just south of Genoa, maybe 40 minutes by train. It's called Rapallo. And as you know, that part of Italy, they're known for their focaccia.
Yes.
But not all focaccia is the same. And the focaccia that we had in this city of Rapallo, it was like a thin focaccia with cheese in it, and the cheese is from that town, not from elsewhere in Italy. It's from that town, and that is possibly one of the best bread and cheese combinations I've ever had in my life. Another thing that I can mention, but this is an extremely old memory, but you know, these old memories, they stay with you.
Forever.
Is I was in Turkey with my family many years ago, maybe more than 20 years ago, and the what we call the shawarma, or what they call it, the çevirme, or the doner, sometimes they call it, with that fresh bread and that like fresh kind of like either chicken or beef. It's a sandwich,
Yeah.
you know, but it's a sandwich that stays with you. It really stays with you.
Yeah, sometimes the simplest things are the best one.
Right.
Right?
And to use one example from your part of the world, actually, I really like seafood, and the Shpo is known for its seafood, and the grilled sardines
Yeah, they're very
The
nice.
grilled sardines, they were about this big.
Yeah.
In the past, I've only had sardines out of a can, you know,
Yeah.
and now I'm embarrassed to say that because after having these like fresh grilled sardines from in Lisbon, you can eat 5, 6 easily.
Yeah. Did you eat
Yeah.
with the bread?
With bread,
Yes.
and I put some lemon on it.
Yeah,
It's
it's
amazing. The list goes on. Honestly, it's an unfair question again,
Okay.
but
Now.
I gave you 2, 3 things. I think we can.
Yes. Top city to do business.
Top city to do business. If I am completely honest, I think London is the place to do business. You know,
Do you think so?
I think London. If anybody wants to do business, London sets a standard. Some people say New York City.
I would say Dubai right now.
Right now, in terms of ease of doing business, in terms of the facilities that you have available, is I would say Dubai as well.
Yeah.
Because it's extremely easy to start your business, to open your business, to get
Network.
your network. Our colleagues at the economic departments, they have really made it very easy to get most of the things that you need to done either in one day or maximum 1 week.
Yes, that's true.
Excuse me. From the point of getting your visa or getting your business
Set up your company,
set
everything.
up your company,
Yes.
your trade license.
Yes.
Even if you want to get your staff, it's really easy to do business in Dubai. And again, this is part of the D33 agenda that I mentioned. But the reason why I said London is because London has historical
Of course.
significance.
It's one of the biggest markets in the world.
Exactly, and
stock market,
so
everything.
so
Yes.
it's kind of like an easy get out of this question answer
Yeah.
that I had to give.
And the last one, top city to have fun.
Obviously, fun is different from person to person.
Of course.
For me, for example, if I am a big fan of nature, so I think British Columbia, just north of Vancouver, anywhere they have beautiful nature. If you're into hiking, if you're into camping, I would say that part of the world, if you really love nature, then it's a must visit for anyone who can. Obviously, I haven't seen most of the world, I'm sure there are many places all around the world that you can have amazing adventurous experiences in. If you're talking about nightlife, you can have
London.
all kinds of experiences.
Yeah, New
Actually, I
York.
wouldn't say London for me. Even though I lived there, South Korea, Japan,
Really?
China. These
Yes.
people know how to have a great time.
Yeah,
These
that's
people
true.
know how to have a great time. Obviously, cities in Europe,
Yeah.
it's what people know.
Yeah.
I think also, especially the viewers that you are addressing, they are familiar with Europe. I would say for me, I really like Berlin.
Yeah.
Yeah, Berlin as a kind of a nightlife experience, I think is extremely unique. Is another very, very unique city in the world because it's
Yes.
also a melting pot of all kinds of people,
Yes.
and it is extremely inclusive of all kinds of people.
Yes.
It's an easy city to navigate. Most people speak English, and you would be surprised, or I was surprised, that it's a very affordable city
Yeah. it
compared
is.
to other parts of
That's
Germany or other parts of Europe.
Okay, Mohammed, thank you very much. it was incredible, your insights, and I think they are very relevant. Thank you for this conversation. And guys, we are back in next 2 weeks, so keep in touch. Leave your comments if you think there are any topic that we will like to see in this podcast. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Joao.
Thank you, brother.
Flight attendants, prepare for takeoff, please.